Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. And, well, today I'm not quite feeling right. I guess I'm feeling a little bit loopy. Since I feel a little bit loopy, then I guess today is the perfect day to tell you about the loop statements you can use in BASIC09. See what I did there? So the loop statements from BASIC were carried over to BASIC09 either directly or with a little bit of a tweak. So I'll show you how to use those now, but there are a number of other loop statements that you can use in BASIC09. But before we do that, I do have to show you how to declare variable types and which variable types there are, because different variable types have to be used in the different kinds of loops. So let's fire up the Coco 3, load up Nitrous 9 EOU, and get going on some BASIC 09. So I'm going into this assuming that you are familiar with the two types of variables available in BASIC, the string variable and the numerical variable, as well as knowing how to use them in arrays. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the various available variables in BASIC09. There are 5 variable types in BASIC09, as well as complex data types, which I will give a quick example of after I've told you about the other 5 variables. To define a variable in a procedure, you type dim, then the variable name, a colon, and then the variable type. So there is obviously the integer, the byte, real numbers, strings, and Boolean. So the integer is a whole number between negative 32,768 and positive 32,767 and uses 2 bytes of memory. The byte is any whole number from 0 to 255, uses 1 byte of memory. A real number is a floating point number, plus or minus 1 times 10 to the 38th, and uses 5 bytes. Actually, I think it's plus or minus 1 times 10 to the plus or minus 38th power. And a string is any letters, digits, or punctuation and uses 1 byte per character. Boolean is true or false, and it uses 1 byte. So if you don't define the variable at the when you make it, like if you don't use the dim statement, you just start using a variable, it will automatically be a real number. Now, real numbers do a lot more. They're the most versatile because obviously they're the largest, the greatest range and floating point. However, arithmetic operations done with real numbers are a lot slower than if you used bytes or integers. So there is a speed advantage to using integers or bytes if you can fit into the right size of numbers over using real numbers. And also, if you're defining any of these as an array, then you would just define your number like that. And So then that creates a 3 by 3 array of integers in F, just exactly the same as you would do it in BASIC. And I had mentioned to you the complex data types. Now, that's basically something where you're able to create your own customized variable. So for instance, you would do that by using the type command and then, I don't know, customer. So let's just say that you are running a hotel. So you can create a customized variable type. This one is going to be called customer, and within it you can have the name of your customer, which will be a string, and their room number, say, which will be a byte, and their credit card number, which will be a real number. And now, if you use the type customer, you can have the 3 different things within that one variable, which are mixed, being a string, a byte, and a real number. So enough about variable types. Let's jump into taking a look at some of the loops you can use. So here on the screen, I have written a quick little if then else loop, just like you would in BASIC. So if a something is true or not, then you do something. Otherwise, you do something else. If you use a goto statement within that, it creates a loop that can keep running a piece of code until something is true here, which the true statement would be that x is more than 25. And until that point, it's just going to keep adding 1 to x. And yeah, so pretty simple little loop program. The only difference in BASIC09 is that at the end of everything that you're doing within this if-then-else statement is you have to put end if at the end of it. So it creates a closed little section there. So, as you can guess, it is going to keep going until the number is greater than 25. There you go. And that is how it's done. So that is one of the loop things that has carried over from regular BASIC into BASIC09 with one slight change. So the next loop that I'm going to show you is the for next loop, which is exactly the same as you would use it in BASIC. So it's carried directly over from BASIC to BASIC09, and it's all the same. So for something, you can use the step to either go backwards, like if you use a negative number, it'll count backwards, positive number, it'll count up by whatever number you want. Then perform something, then do a next statement. So it's the for next loop. And this is also the one where I'm going to show you what the difference between a real variable or an variable that you have not told what type it is, compared to one that if you use, say, the integer. So we have this program here, which I will run, and I am going to put it up side by side to the program here. And this is the program where the x and y variables are typed as integers. So let's put these screens side by side and see what the speed difference is. And go. I'm not going to know for sure until I have seen those side by side, but yeah, that integer one, this one right here, looked like it went a lot faster. So that is one of the definite advantages in BASIC 09. The next loop I'm going to look at is one that was not available in BASIC, and that is the while do loop. So here is a list of an example program. And as you can see from this little sample program, the structure is that while some expression is true, you do something. At the end of the loop, you put in an end while statement. This means that once the expression is false, it will jump to the next line after the end while statement. Now with this loop, the expression is located at the beginning of the loop, so it is possible that the body of the loop will never be executed. So here is the program in action. Does the same as everything else, counts to 26, and then hits the end. So, as you can see, it goes, once it's at, say, 25, x is at 25, which is less than 26, so it adds 1 to 20, x plus 1, which now 25 becomes 26, prints out the 26, goes back, 26 is now not less than 26, so it goes to the end of the end while statement and prints out the next line, which is, this is the end. And now the next loop to look at is the repeat list loop. So as you can see from this sample program, the structure of the loop is that you do something, check the expression. If the expression is false, then you go back and repeat the body of the loop. Now, since the check is at the bottom of the loop, it will be executed at least once, and the loop will continue until the expression is true. So same thing, if you run that, it does the same thing. But as you can see, it's saying until x is greater than 25. So when x is 25, it checks x is greater than 25. Well, that's false. So 25 is not greater than 25. Goes back, repeats the body one more time. So x equals x plus 1, which makes it 26. Prints out 26, checks again. 26 is greater than 25. So now the statement is true. And it goes on to the next line, which prints out this is the end. And the final loop that I am going to look at is the loop loop. Now this is the most complicated loop, but also it's the most versatile. The loop is contained between a loop statement and an end loop statement. Somewhere in the middle, you need to add the exit if then statement. So the syntax of the exit if statement is that exit if, check a statement. If the statement is true, then you can perform some action, which you would put between the exit if and the end exit statement, or you could just put nothing and then it hits the end exit statement and it just jumps forward out of the loop and does the last line. So again, prints the same thing. All right, well, there you go. That should be as clear as mud. Now, seriously though, the loop statement is obviously the most versatile of the loops that you can use. So because of that, I did make up a second program to take a look at, which really shows off some of the advantages. As you can see here, I put in 2 exit if statements within the body of the loop. And you can actually put in as many exit if statements as you want, which means that different results within the loop could give you different outcomes. which is one of the huge, advantages here. Another one of the advantages is that you can put the exit if statement anywhere within the loop, at the beginning, the middle, or the end. So depending on where you want it, at what point in running the loop to make checks, you can put it anywhere. And another one of the big advantages is that once the loop is ready to be exited, you can have a special piece of code within the exit if statement that executes only once within the loop when whatever the expression is met. So we can run this here, and you can see that I added a partway done in the middle. So as you can see, it just runs through normally, but the second exit if statement says that once the x is equal to 15, then it's going to print part way done. And instead of jumping to the very end of the end loop statement, I have it going to 10, which is the beginning of the loop again. So it will just continue on through the loop. So that's a little break or whatever you want in there. I could have put in an input statement so that it would have stopped the program until I hit a key. Whatever. It's extremely versatile. So definitely one of the best loop statements in BASIC09. Well, there we go. That is some BASIC09 loops. I hope you enjoyed this loopy little episode. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where we're going to start being able to write some programs here because we now know about loops. We know the variable declarations. We know the program structures. Yeah, we can start writing some fairly basic programs, but yeah, you can do it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and or the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. Even a thumbs down is appreciated because it lets me know what's going on with the people that watch my videos. So I guess I have nothing else to say, but I will see you next week.